CarTrawler is probably the best kept secret in B2B. And that's essentially, because we're not a B2C company, we're not a household name. In a nutshell, CarTrawler is a car rental API. So if you're on pretty much any of the large airlines and they offer you car rental, that was probably us. So we provide the capability to those airlines, to those OTAs, to provide car rental functionality as part of your booking journey. Data is actually at the heart of what we do here at CarTrawler. Number one, we have a lot of data and we've got a lot of historical data. And in order to provide the best options to customers, we build a lot of data science models. We need the data to be available in real time to feed the data science models. We need it to be accurate, because obviously the models will require that. And we need it to be scalable. So we have vast amounts of data. It all has to be available to those models in real time. CarTrawler began its data transformation program about 4 years ago. Essentially, the reason that we needed it was in order to scale. So this is a growth company. We had customers, we had partners, we had facilities, we had products all of the time. In order to make that scale, it's required that you actually have a solid foundation. And the transformation is essentially designed to make this company scalable. The key challenges with data are the multiplicity. So we have many, many data sources. We have, I think, about 1,000 suppliers. We have like a large number of partners. We also have data sources right across the company. So we've got Salesforce Marketing Cloud, we've got our own internal apps. There's a lot of data coming from a lot of different places. Making that sync up so that you can make use of it, that's actually a huge challenge. And getting a solid data model underneath it, that is a big thing. So I think that was probably the key focus for us.
When I arrived at CarTrawler, all they had was the Microsoft SQL database, which is for the transactions, bookings, and financial information. So at the start of the journey, we were only able to handle small data. My job from there was to evolve the data stack at CarTrawler, and we brought in Hadoop, but Hadoop only took us so far. So after that, we took a look at Redshift. With Redshift, we were able to start taking a look at the availability data. And Airflow is our orchestration mechanism. What Airflow allows us to do is connect to absolutely every data source. So we were able to pick up everything. And then from there, we were able to orchestrate and bring everything to the single source of truth, which then became Snowflake. The reason why we then went with Snowflake is because it enabled us to do data science at a much bigger scale in terms of our pricing and sort. From Snowflake, then there was the real requirements for data quality, data meaning, data understanding, and indeed data governance. So on top of that, we built a metadata solution along with a data quality framework. The data quality framework was the start of our data quality journey, along with the metadata plant. With the metadata plant, we were able to create a data dictionary from Thoughtspot. We were able to pull all the descriptions from Thoughtspot back into the database and be able to put descriptions back in the database and apply them everywhere throughout the plant with our common core metadata plant. From there then, there was a bit of a demand from the users to self-serve. So we provided a lot of self-serve tools. We built technology on top of Airflow called Airflow Job Builder, which is totally CarTrawler. This enabled the users and the analysts to be able to go in and run their own jobs directly on Airflow. So it was a simplified interface. They put in their SQL, they picked the time schedule, and away they ran. But when you have a lot of people running different jobs around the business, data quality became impossible for a small team to maintain. So we granted data ownership to different people around the business. And then we brought Soda on board. The reason why we went with Soda was because it provided the users with a nice interface. It provided an alerting and incident mechanism, and it put everything in a central place. We were even able to take the outcomes of our test from DBT with Snowplow and bring that back into Soda.
At CarTrawler, we're doing everything we can to enable our users to use and share the data. I think the primary thing is the foundation. That would be our Snowflake warehouse. So everything that we have in this company is now flowing in real time or near real time into that warehouse. Secondly, we do a lot of data curation on top of that, which essentially turns it into the kind of reporting format that is useful for people to look at. And thirdly, we put a layer across the top. We're using Tableau and Thoughtspot, so people can access the data very easily without knowing SQL, without actually writing a whole bunch of VB or, pick your programming language of choice. And I think the other thing that we do that's particularly special here, our data curation is very detailed. We are very big on data quality because bad data is worse than no data. It sends people in the wrong direction. So that's actually why we picked Soda, because we want to have alerts and manageability of our data quality as it's going through this gigantic data plant.
Self-serve analytics is important at CarTrawler and usually important in the function that we work for, which is called revenue, because you need to be able to democratize and kind of get people to work with data and base their decisions on fact. So for that, we need to provide a self-service capability. As part of that self-service capability, we provide tools where they're able to analyze and query the data and make decisions. But on top of that, we also, with Soda, we're able to give them the ability to put data quality on top of what they're producing themselves. So in terms of self-service comes responsibility. Self-service also creates greater efficiency. When people are when the analysts or partner managers are talking to partners and people external to the business, they can access that data directly and make decisions and negotiation with partners and suppliers quickly. So it creates efficiency. The other thing it does is it creates collaboration, because people are able to take a look at reports together. So if the finance team is working on something, they can work on it together. They can take a look. They will all see the same results and they'll be able to make decisions together. So it's about bringing everybody together. It's about having accurate information.
Data quality is fundamental. If people can't trust the data, if they find errors in it once, you lose trust and then they stop using it, or they start doing other things with the data that you don't want them to do. So having trust in your data and having trust in data at scale, where you can guarantee that thousands of files are correct, thousands of metrics and KPIs and triggers on data science models, that they will all be correct, that is fundamental to scaling a company. So trust from our users who use it for analytics, and trust from our users who are building it into automated models, so that we can actually trust that when we run a model on something, that the decisions that it is making for us are founded on clean data.
There were two primary challenges that we are trying to tackle. One of them was a business challenge of getting a self-serving tool out there for the business. And the second challenge was more for the engineering team, and how would you add a data quality as a code system for the engineers to solve it.
What Soda gave us in addition was being able to democratize data quality right across the business to the analysts in each function. And we liked working with Soda. We liked working with the developers and evolving the product so that we could use it at CarTrawler.
We chose Soda because it works for us. Number one, their data quality framework is very similar to the philosophy that we had already adopted, so it allows us to implement that philosophy very easily without writing a lot of code for ourselves. Secondly, it allows us to involve our users using Soda Cloud so that the data quality becomes a team sport.
Our technology stack at CarTrawler is mainly based around Airflow, dbt, AWS, and the BI stack is Tableau and Thoughtspot. Snowflake is our single version of truth. across the business. So we have applied Soda across the technology stack to make sure that the data coming inwards towards Snowflake and outwards from Snowflake are applied with high data quality rules. Another important feature that Soda provides is the cross-check between your source and target. So we have different source systems where we are fetching the initial data from to Snowflake warehouse, and the data can be trusted at each and every level. The engineering team uses Soda primarily for their day-to-day data pipelines, making sure the data pipelines arrive on time, they're accurate, they're complete, they have a proper integrity. The business teams apply Soda on top of the transformation of the SQL work that they do in Snowflake. There are teams in data science who uses it for their feature store. So the feature store is a store which has features to train a machine learning model on something, be it pricing or the sorting engine that we have. Apart from data science, we have several other data products like DM Views. So DM Views is an end product for the business to report on several metrics. One of the metrics is unit margin that defines the profitability in the business. So Soda makes sure, and the rules that we put in Soda makes sure that all the metrics in those critical data sets are up to date and within the specified rules and the thresholds.
Soda allows us to trust the data that we're providing to our users. Essentially, because data quality is such a difficult thing to get right at scale, Soda allows us to automate a lot of the checks that we need to do on that data as it comes through. And because of the flexibility and the number of paradigms that we can use from the Soda toolbox, it allows us to have a complete 360 view of, yes, I certify this file and do it at scale. Soda's generated a lot of benefit, right across the company and outside it. Essentially, I have two sets of users. My internal analyst group, they benefit because we can maintain a larger number of data sets for them and guarantee the quality of that data to them every morning. For our external users, and these would be people who rely on us to provide data or use the data in models to help them run their business or to optimize their flows, in those cases, having better and cleaner data and being able to manage more of it allows us to build better models, which allows us to do better optimizations, better machine learning. The higher optimization, better sort results, better recommendation results, and obviously better conversion and better financial return. So essentially data is fundamental and data quality is fundamental to servicing those two sets of users. So everyone wins.
Soda has helped us hugely on focusing on our productivity. People can now focus on their core mission. For example, the data scientists, they can focus solely on building machine learning models rather than focusing too much on data issues, which the Soda platform can help them with. And our engineers are really loving it because of how easy it is to integrate with our existing data stack that we have at CarTrawler.
Working with Soda, I think, has improved the productivity of my team, because previously we would have had to do a lot of Q&A on, is this file up to date? Is it working? Are you sure? Whereas now, we can guarantee the quality, that it has been checked, that it is compliant, that it passes all of the quality rules. And that just makes things a hell of a lot faster for the team to keep a larger amount of data in play for our users.
So the benefits of integrating Soda with Snowflake, well, first of all, I'll start off with what we use Snowflake for. Snowflake is our single source of truth at CarTrawler. When we bring data quality into that, then we have Soda. So we want to apply the data quality rules that we'd already thought about. We like Soda because we were able to take the rules that we already had and pop those right in. So it was very simplistic in terms of how we were able to apply the rules. But what it gave us in addition, so Soda with Snowflake, what it gave to us was it allowed us to bring all our rules into one place. It allowed us to report against those rules, create data contracts and create the additional rules, all through one single point. And we were able to view the status of each of those rules and incident manage and alert on those rules, all from one common place. For Soda and Snowflake, it had huge impact downstream because it meant that the data was reliable and accurate. So with Soda, applied on top of our single source of truth, which is Snowflake, we were able to expose reliable and accurate data and information to the entire business.
The top 3 features that everyone at CarTrawler loves about Soda is the interface, the Soda agent for the engineers and how easy it is to maintain, and the documentation that is really rich with good examples and easy to integrate. And I would also like to add the Soda community, who are really helping at each and every step. If there's a problem, you fire a question in the Slack channel and you get an answer from all the experts around the world. Soda has blended very well with your data stack at CarTrawler. The future looks very bright. Also with the Soda platform, now we can onboard more and more data sets, thus helping different teams at CarTrawler to achieve their goals.
What sets CarTrawler's data architecture apart from everyone else's and everywhere I've been is that it's end-to-end optimized. So essentially everything that we're doing in the data plant is to drive increased efficiency and increased financial return out of the system. If we didn't have Soda, I'd probably need another 3 headcount, because the alternative to using Soda is building a data quality framework ourselves. And we had one, and it was pretty good, but it took a lot of time to maintain. So the fact that I can use Soda's framework, Soda's web engines, all of those things to deliver my data quality essentially saves me 2-3 headcount.
We measure the value of data in terms of how many people are actually using it. Because the more people that are using it, it means that they can rely on and trust that information. For example, for all our partners, we provide partner dashboards, and there's been a high demand from partners for more and more information in those dashboards because they know they can trust that data and relate that data back to what partners can see themselves.
It's really difficult to explicitly measure data value, but we have some pretty good proxy measures here at CarTrawler. Generally speaking, if we have clean data going into a model, we can get an extra 1 or 2 percentage points from that model. And you're probably saying 1 or 2 percentage points doesn't matter. It really does. So that would translate, in round numbers to possibly $1 million, $1.5 million a year. People talk about data culture, data informed, data driven. I think at CarTrawler we are all 3. So number 1, we have the data culture, and increasingly people understand that data is fundamental to the way that they do their jobs. The data informed, that's always been in our culture. So we always look to use data either for information in an analyst way or to apply directly to our data science models. Then I think data driven, increasingly a lot of our work is automated. So we're trying to do data automation at scale, and therefore a lot of the decisioning that we're doing will be data driven with a human in the loop.
One of the songs that kind of describes the beat of our team is Heatwave by Glass Animals. And the reason for that is that, it's quite positive, but there's a constant beat in the background, and that really symbolizes what we do. All of us are working together to maintain that plant and maintain that beat and make sure it stays operational.